about bracket number 1, Ohio's largest MLS ditches coming soon status. This is an Inman article, which we will link below. MLS Now, the name of this MLS, which has almost 14,000 agent, broker, and appraiser subscribers, which is in Ohio and West Virginia. Maybe the first to ditch the practice among those that do it. Not everybody has this coming soon practice. Obviously, I believe all MLSs, or the majority of them, state that once you take a listing, you have to have it active in the system within 2 business days, which means there is a gray area. You can, and it talks about this in this article, you can actually take a listing on a Friday.
Yeah.
You can go share it on Instagram and not put it in the MLS until Monday, which gives you an opportunity to actually sell it.
Well, I think there's
weekend.
Additional paperwork that we have to fill out with being withheld from MLS.
There's a little bit of a gray area there. Anyway, they're doing completely away with the coming soon.
As of August 1st.
Correct.
Yes.
August 1st, this kicks in. Now, coming soon allows you to have a 14-day period up to where we don't always use the 14-day period here.
That's a long time.
It's a long coming soon.
But I think
time.
It really depends on our sellers. But only up to 14 days. You know what's really interesting too, and again, I'm only speaking about ours. You could put, like, if you were to put it in for 14 days, you have a heck of a time shaving the time off. Like, you can't go, like, if you say, hey, it's 8 days, and then you're like, hey, my seller wants it on tomorrow.
Right.
It's really hard to then get it actually activated for that day. Again, for probably all the same reasons as we're going to be discussing.
You kind of got to stick to the date. Is the intention
once you put it in. Yeah.
Now, in here, it references somebody from the Ohio MLS saying the intention was to go for the whole 14 days, but people are doing 2-3 days. Now, tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Pros, cons of taking it away. You said you really like it in this market.
Yeah.
Just give us your pros and cons.
Well, so again, in the original intent in this article, they're saying is that the reason that it's not on the market is because the seller is still getting the property ready for sale. Right. But what they're finding now is that there's like professional photos, there's even videos being posted, and then it's being put on for however many days they want.
Sure.
So pros, I think there's a lot of upside to it, especially in this market, because what you're doing is as soon as it goes active, after it's on the coming soon, you pretty much have the next 2, 3, 4 days scheduled out for your seller. So your seller now knows, like, hey, like I usually tell my sellers, just go away for the weekend. Like,
you're certainly testing price right before.
For sure. But you're also getting things scheduled. So instead of it going live on a Tuesday and then kind of, waiting those 2 days to see when the showings start coming in, if you have it on the coming soon for, again, up to that 14 days, they can start scheduling the day after that 14th day. So day 15, like, we're packed from 9 to 5. And then again, the 16th, the 17th day,
if you have 20 showing requests, you're basically like, I've got a pretty good price here.
Right. And you're packing them all in. So it's not like, hey, did we get enough showings? We need to show it more. You know exactly what your calendar looks like pretty much for the next week in this market.
You could argue with that lead time that it gives consumers more of a chance to plan their showings. Now, what they're saying the con is that agents, and 80% of the agents in this Ohio MLS, Ohio West Virginia MLS, are for doing away with the coming soon. 20% were opposed. They say the 20% that were opposed were the ones that built their marketing plan around it. They probably had a whole spiel. They're probably the listing agents, by the way. Not everybody lists properties. So
obviously.
So the 20% are probably a lot of the listing agents.
Yeah.
But think about it. If somebody's following the rules and they're not actually selling it, what they were saying is...
Well, you can't show it during the coming soon
period.
But
they were saying these properties were going coming soon, say on a Thursday or a Friday, and then come that Monday when their showings were scheduled, all of a sudden it was under contract on Monday.
Right.
Now, we know people are putting offers in sight unseen. We're talking about that. So that could be the case, but maybe there were some people not following the rules. If somebody follows the rules exactly the way it's intended, it actually gives consumers a lot of time to get their showing scheduled, do their research, knowing that the property is not going to sell.
Right.
And where, as opposed to like, you've got to almost be lucky, have your notifications set, and then scramble to get in this market or that day. You know, if it comes in live on a Monday, it was never coming soon. You never knew it was coming to the market.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a scramble.
Right.
Here's what I would say I don't like at all about the way they're approaching this. Everything, if you read through the Inman article, and it's a pretty lengthy, detailed article, the entire article, everything coming from this MLS is talking about fairness for the agents.
Right.
Who the heck cares what is fair for the agents? And this is where NAR, MLSs, and boards will always get it wrong. They stop thinking consumer first. The
coming soon was for the consumer originally because they were trying to do away with pocket listings.
But they always make rules based off of agents complaining.
Right.
And that's what happened here. Agents complained, and now they're going from coming soon to a temporary off-market status. You can have your property temporary off-market is what they're going to.
Well, in my mind, they're
not
ahead. I'll let you finish.
They're not asking or making decisions based on consumer feedback and what is right for consumers. I already stated an instance where I think this is beneficial to buyers, and we can go on and on for the benefits that it would have for sellers.
Of course.
And that it does have for sellers. You're saying this is a great thing for sellers in this market.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
Is it not a great thing for sellers to utilize this in a slow market?
100%.
When they want to test price a little bit,
sure.
when they want to get a feel for how many showings, and maybe they didn't have any pre-showings in a bad market. The market's not always going to be like it is today.
Right.
Maybe you have a bad market, a high inventory market. Maybe that comes back someday, and they want to actually use that coming soon to collect data, and then they go out on a new price when they go out. It could happen.
Well, so I think the biggest thing that has also changed too, which the article touches on, is the fact that originally these coming soon listings were not being fed outside of, they weren't going to any third-party sites. So I do think originally the coming soons, probably it was right. The one of the first couple article or paragraphs, it talks about the fact that third-party websites didn't have access to it. So it was really just the agents advertising it. And then it was also, I believe, from what I understand, on your own website. And just recently is it now being fed to these third-party sites, which has obviously completely changed the game, which is why there's probably so much complaining, because now they're concerned about double-ended deals. And they're selling it, and they're trying to get the lead. But at the end of the day, I feel like if the seller accepted an offer sight unseen, that's the seller's fault.
Right.
That's the seller's fault. Why wouldn't you have 35 showings scheduled?
Their fault, their choice, right?
I'm hearing you. The minute and that's pretty much what I mean.
Here's the minute we continue to take choices and options away from consumers is when they start to move away from agents.
100%.
We keep making rules that align with agents complaining and what's fair for the agent and brokerage community. The consumer doesn't care what's fair for our little made up board of real. I'm sorry, they just don't.
No.
And they're over time going to do something. This is a very, I'll use the word centralized system, National Association of Realtors, MLS. And you're seeing in culture today, people are going towards a decentralized way of living. We're walking a very thin line here with making decisions that are right for agents, not thinking about consumers. Carl DeMoose, who is the MLS Now president and CEO, this particular Ohio, West Virginia MLS, he says we are always amending the rule to make it fit business practices. They mention in here that, because the market's so good, you don't need this coming soon, but you're making a decision based on this particular market, thinking it's going to last forever. It will not.
Right.
We adjusted the rule to disallow shortening of the 14 days, but could extend the number of days. So he's got a lot of things in here.
They're morphing a lot.
That are very reactionary. Listing agents were asking coming soon listings and entering them in the MLS. Multiple photos. That's your point earlier.
Yeah. Again, because the original intent was to put it on before the seller was ready.
Here's one of the quotes. Agents and buyers were complaining in large numbers that they were never given the opportunity to view, let alone make an offer. Now, they did almost 184 fines for violations incoming soon this year already, he said. So they've tried to stay ahead of this and be on top of this when there was issues. It was designed to improve activity, but you don't need to improve activity. Not in this market, I guess. After discussion, the motion was made for August 1st. They're going to that.
Temporarily off the market. So now you have to put it on the market and then put it into temp status for the allotted time. Yeah.
So I do want to mention one thing.
So that'll be interesting.
Here,
their hot sheet on temp is probably going to go through the roof, huh?
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
And then the agents will just start looking there.
Yeah, well, that's true. And then you're going to get IDX feeds that say what's temp off market.
Zillow's listening. I'm sure Zillow's watching.
The 2021 NAR member profile reports that 34% of transactions are double-sided, double bubble, double dipping. Mm-hmm. Dual agency,
right,
as we call it here in Connecticut. So
they
think this is leading to...
specifying, though, is that the same agent or is that the same company?
It's probably the same company. It doesn't specify
so that's
in here.
Like, again, I think I wish it would be clear because people always hear like it's double-sided, but it could be within the same company, not necessarily the same agent. So there's a lot of... I mean,
listen to these quotes.
There.
It's all agent. Oh. It's all agent. The majority. Stop banging.
I'm banging. Bobby so excited.
Banging over there.
Is it my bracelets or me just hitting?
It's everything. Bobby says the majority.
So I just leave. It's all of it.
They don't mention the consumers once. The majority of members felt coming soon isn't worth the agitation they caused between agents. He added that the 20%, which I mentioned before, wanted to keep coming soon. All about the agents. So far, members. Mm-hmm. So is another way he started a sentence. Mm-hmm. Talking about the double-sided. Mm-hmm. These are all things consumers really don't care about. There are some realtors that misuse coming soon. It's all about the realtors. That's the biggest racket to me. That's where they have it wrong on this. I'm not advocating for or against really coming soon. I think that more options for the consumers are always better. So I guess in that sense, I would be advocating for it.
But it also is like there's a reason that it came. There's a reason that after all of these years that the MLS has been around, that coming soon was added. Like there was a reason, and now all of a sudden,
I think to make a decision based off of agents complaining is always a bad move.
Right.
When you get a majority of agents,
well, especially in this market, everyone is complaining in this market.
Remember, the majority of agents don't do any business. So I don't, and this probably goes against what NAR wants everyone to believe. I don't believe agents doing no business should have as loud of a voice of the 20% of agents doing 80+% of the business. And I certainly don't think anybody should have a louder voice than the consumer, and the consumer will always win. And they're moving towards more decentralization, not more centralization, which is what this is.